Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II. One of the main things that they definitely learned from the Xperia 1 Mark II from earlier this year is the ability of using that headphone jack for audio input, as I'm actually using it to do the introduction for you guys. So we're using Cinema Pro, we're using an audio headphone jack in, as well as an actual monitoring option, as I'm showing you guys right now, for kind of more of a mobile rig, using the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II as the brains of the entire system. This is TK and this is XDA TV. So here we have it, the brand new Xperia 5 Mark II. Some of the main improvements that we have here is a triple camera setup here that is upgraded from last year's camera system. We have three 12 megapixel sensors, but basically at three different focal lengths. One at 16 megapixels with dual face detection and autofocusing. The second one is the primary sensor, which is 24 millimeter focal length with dual face detection and autofocusing, and of course optical image stabilization. The last one is the 70 millimeter, basically a millimeter equivalent focal length with face detection, autofocusing, and of course OIS. The primary 24 millimeter sensor is capable of providing us 20 frames per second burst shooting with autofocus and eye autofocus, up to 60 times per second AF and AE on the device, meaning as you're tracking your subject, you're able to enjoy watching the videos. And of course, the ability of having that eye detection work almost even on animals if you have pets at home. 4K 60 frames per second, as well as 4K 120 frames per second capable with the Cinema Pro application for slow motion. And of course, the front-facing camera that we have here is an 8 megapixel camera capable of shooting up to 1080p 30 frames per second. JPEG and RAW support is supported here on the back sensors with the Camera Pro application. And of course, all the goodness. We're still looking at a 21:9 aspect ratio, 6.1 inch 1080p panel with 120 frames per second refresh rate and 240 frames per second, of course, touch sampling rate to be able to provide us some of the best gaming experience. The Snapdragon 865 will be powering this with 8 gigs of RAM, so 2 gigs more than last year, 128 gigs of internal storage, again the same as last year with an expandable SD card option. Although what we have here with the Xperia 5, which is also unique, is the ability of using either 2 SIM cards or a SIM card and an SD card. So this is actually technically a dual SIM device if we want to be able to use it in that manner. The speakers on here are front-facing, no longer front and side firing, and we also have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack supported with the DAC built in here. On the right, we still have a volume rocker, the power button and the fingerprint sensor are combined now, and we now have a dedicated assistant button that's present here, so by pressing it once, automatically launches the assistant. And the last but not least is the camera app, which you're able to customize to be able to launch the Camera Pro application, or the way I have done it, essentially enabling me to launch not only the Camera Pro, but the Cinema Pro as well. A lot of good options in here that we can talk about. Again, 120 frames per second slow motion video capabilities here, the ability of using all 3 sensors in here to be able to shoot video. Keep in mind that the Cinema Pro application will only work with the primary sensors on the back. It does not support the front-facing sensor in here. The Photography Pro does pretty much the same experience. You're able to jump in between the 3 different lenses. And what I like about it is the ability of actually jumping in basically from 16 to 24, from 24 to 70, and of course from 70 all the way up to 200 millimeter as far as the focal length. One thing to keep in mind, again, the 24 is your primary sensor where you'll get the best either burst shot images or even the ability of using the camera to be able to use it either for shutter priority, manual mode, or even in auto mode if you'd like to be able to use it that way. Very reminiscent of what a Sony Alpha camera can do and what we're able to do with it. But again, the only way to use the front-facing camera sensor is to use the default camera app. So we technically have 3 apps now. Here, we can use all 3 sensors in the back, wide, of course, and all of the other options. Under video, similar to the same thing. And you're able to switch it over to the front, of course, do video with this. And I'll share with you guys a couple of samples, of course, of the experience that you're getting here with the device. The overall, the experience here essentially is if you want to take professional level, alpha level camera pictures or videos, you're able to use it directly with the Cinema Pro or the Photography Pro. For general daily, on the go kind of thing, the front facing camera, you can use it this way, or you can actually shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second with this if you want to be able to do stabilized video with that. So overall, really good experience, and the camera experience here is pretty good. So we have a game enhancer here that enables us to basically customize our gaming experience here, and of course customize those really cool features that we have on our device. We can slide down from the top here. We have game mode here that you're able to customize the refresh rate, the touch sampling rate, and of course the tracking touch. Also turn on the HS power control to be able to conserve battery. If you want to be able to run a direct line of power here, so a USB-C power, it will keep the device running without charging the battery, making it sure that you not overheat the device. We have the ability of customizing the focus mode, searching for alternate videos, screenshot, and of course video recording with the front-facing camera as well. And of course I'll share with you guys some samples here of some of the gaming experience on the Xperia 1, well, the Xperia 5 Mark II. Google feed on the left, an app drawer on the bottom, and of course you can customize your experience. Dark mode support, of course, all across. You can turn it on. Under the display, we have a few other options. The ability of turning on the high refresh rate is set on its own for high refresh rate. Pretty simple, either on or off. Custom white balance options as well that you're able to customize and turn on. Last but not least, the ability of turning on creator mode, which is really intended for whenever you're playing videos and enjoying content such as videos on your device. No 4K since this is a 1080p panel, but definitely appreciated to have basically some of the best experiences there, especially for color representation. Video enhancer is turned on in here as well, and auto creator mode, you can turn it on for any app that is supported. So for me, Netflix, every time I turn it on, the device will automatically switch to creator mode and switch out of it when I leave it. So really nice, very simple. And as far as the gaming, as you saw, we have Call of Duty, kind of a partnership between the two, so something that you can appreciate. There's a lot of improvements done here with the Xperia 5 Mark II. I can definitely say that if you'd like to see a little bit more of an in-depth kind of deep dive into the features and new things going on here, make sure you check out my channel. There'll be a link for that in the description below, as well as the end of the video. But the overall experience, what we're getting here is, it's not just the smaller version of the Xperia 1 Mark II. It's actually the successor to the Xperia 5 from last year with some improvements that made it on its own. The 4K 120 frames per second slow motion is only available here right now. The dual SIM card option is also only available there. Last but not least is that 120 frames per second is also only available on the Xperia 5 Mark II. So it has learned from the Xperia 1 Mark II from earlier in 2020 with the camera improvements, and of course the Camera Pro, the Cinema Pro, all of those things are there. But we have a much more heavier focus here on basically the gaming experience that you're able to get out of this. The front-facing speakers with Dolby, the headphone jack for zero latency, the ability of using HS power control to power our device and use it without charging the battery, enable us to actually control the thermals when it comes to this device. Again, like and subscribe. Make sure to check out my channel for more videos. There'll be more special videos, deep dives into this device. But of course, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the Xperia 5 Mark II? Is it what you guys were expecting as a successor, or do you like the fact that they're trying to carve up a kind of like their own little space, the gaming experience Xperia for 2020? This is TK. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next video.